welcome to my studio. Today we're working on the stained glass foil leaf wreath. Foil leaf wreath, that's really fun. We're going to teach you how to make your leaves, and then you can decorate it or make it for whatever season you would like. So let's get started. For our leaves, we're going to be using aluminum tooling foil, and this is 36 gauge, and this is my favorite one to work on. It's not too thin and it's not too thick, and we do carry a packet of 4 sheets at miriamjoy.com so that you can find it and have that, so that's a good thing to know. And I'm going to talk to you about doing different leaves. There's a bunch of ways you can do it. You can take real leaves, you can take fake leaves, trace around them with your pencil and then come back over it with your tooling. Or I went to my computer and I googled free leaf patterns, and I printed this guy out, and it gave me some different patterns. And you can simply lay this down, and this is fun craft foam, and you have to have this. This is what makes the indentation in your foil and what makes it work. So it's always underneath between your foil and the table. And like on this pattern, I just simply set it down. I've got all my Miriam Joy tools, so I have all these different links, and for this one I want a bigger outside, so I'm going to use a larger end of my #1 tool, and I'm going to push down pretty good, and I'm just going to trace my pattern. And you can tape it down if you like. Cut it out individually and tape it down if that works better for you. And I probably have my hand in front of it. So however you want to make it work, you can do that. So, and you should have it pushed down pretty good. Now if you want to come back with a bigger tool and go over that one more time, make those nice and deep, you can even do that. And just come around that one more time here. Now on this leaf we have real just simple veins. So we're just going to start with a vein right down the middle, all the way into our leaf. And I'm going to bring one right down each one of those ends of the leaf, or whatever you want to call them. I'm going to flip this guy over, and I'm going to work it just a little bit. And I'm going to push this part down, but I'm not getting on the rises here. We're just pushing this in a little bit. You don't want it to really scratch. Sometimes it does more than others. And you can push these guys down, but don't push the other ridges. So you're kind of having it go up and down. Get one that's not gonna. So you're kind of getting that high and low here. And I always tell people not to overwork it. I'd rather you have it underwork it than overwork it. So I'm going to stop at this point in time, and we're going to grab our scissors here. I like to use my real little craft scissors. Now you can see where this ridge on this outside goes up and down. You don't want to cut way up on top of it. You want to cut way at the bottom of that bend so you get that whole bend. And it may be easier for you to see it on one side than the other. I'm just going to cut the basics out. Be careful when you're working with this. It is aluminum. It is sharp. And you can get these real nasty little edges or points. So always cut your points off as too. So you can see how I'm coming to the edge of this ridge and coming up and just cutting right at the bottom of that. So I'm leaving all of that bend on my leaf. And I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting all the way around this guy. And this is something I do. I sit down and cut them while I'm watching TV or something like that, because it can take a little bit longer. Bend that guy down. That's not good. Let's cut these out. And you can see why little scissors work really good in here. And if you're coming to a sharp point, then pull that out and kind of round it off. Okay, so we're just going to keep going all the way here. Now, once we've cut these, we've kind of messed with bending it a little bit, and we want to get these edges back in a little bit better. So I'm going to come back in, and you could go, if I use my number 2 tool, I may want to come back in with my 1. And I want to go back inside of these lines. I don't want to go on the edges of them. I want to go back in the middle of them. So they're curling down. So all the sharp parts and stuff like that will kind of curl towards the bottom. And you get it looking more leaf shaped. So it's curling in. You're not straightening those out. And I don't work my tooling back and forth like some of them do on the foil. I just do it a couple times and leave it. So now we've got those, see those edges are pointed more down. Now that we've got those pointed more down, I'm going to take my leaf and I am going to do this right down the middle. And you're going to notice this leaf kind of curl up. And that gives it a real more leaf shape, more of a form, so it's not flat up and down. So that is the reason I go right down that middle center leaf again, to give it more of a leaf shape. So that's a lot of fun. Now, I'm going to show you one more leaf here. This is just a basic leaf, and this one has a lot more veins in it, and we're going to do it just by hand. You usually like to leave, when I'm working with my leaves, I usually leave a wider stem on them so I have something to hold onto, or if I'm going to put it onto something, I have something to attach it with. And we're just going to do a basic leaf. But go outside, pick up your leaves, look at your leaves, use those as your pattern, let nature tell you what it's going to be. I go right down the middle of this guy right here with the big wide one. And then we're going to go back in, and I'm going to use my number 0 tool here. And I'm going to use maybe the bigger end or the smaller end. I'm going to see how easy it's going here. I'm going to try the smaller end first. And if it's not going really easy, I'm going to switch like I did right there. Sometimes it pulls easier with a little bit bigger end. And I'm just going back and forth in between those. And I'm coming into these, but I want to stop. I don't want to go all the way into the other lines. I want to go right up next to them, but not all the way in. And your vein should always go towards the tip of the leaf. That's where they always end up. So we'll do that one more time over here. And people always ask me why mine looks so different. A lot of it is because I have different tools that I use. I've got bigger variety of my tools, so they look different. Alright, so there we've got that. And I'm not going to go back and do it except for around the edges and the middle again. Now this one ought to be really easy to cut out. Remember to leave all that curl in there. And we're going to go up to the point, and we're just going to not make that a sharp point. trim off any of those points. Now, I'm going to take a smaller one again and go inside the outside ones because we've kind of flattened that a little bit. We want that to curl up a little bit down. And then I'm also going to go back in the middle and it's going to help curl that leaf up. Got a bigger tool here. Help curl that up a little bit. So you've got it closing up a little bit and kind of curling up a little bit. So there we go. Now that we've got those all done, we're going to go ahead and color them. And we're going to use alcohol inks. And you can use any type of alcohol inks you want. The most popular ones are the Adirondacks. And you can find these in the stamp booking section. And you can get whatever colors you think the leaves should be. I tried to do fall colors, but fall colors have also your purples and greens and all kinds of fun colors in them. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use an old brush. And I have a little bit of rubbing alcohol. I'm going to load into my brush. It's going to help my color go on just a little bit better. And we're going to cover the entire leaf. And the reason that I'm doing that is so I don't have any blank spots to cover up after I get done putting the colors on. There's no silver showing. Do front and back. Now your back, you don't need to do anything to it but this, just to cover up the leaf. And you can make it whatever color you think it needs to be. And clean your brushes out. You're going to use your alcohol as well. And it kind of is sticky. And it sticks to your leaves. So that's the reason that we use the alcohol. This one I'm going to use butterscotch. They usually come in 3 packets in most of the store. One of my favorite ones is the yellow and the orange, and I think it's a purple. And I really like that one a lot. So if you can only pick up a pack of 3, that would be a good one to use. Get your 40% coupon for your craft store. And it seems like you're using a lot, but you're not really using a lot because it just comes out in such a small amount. All right, now that we've got that guy all done, I take these and I'm just going to put the alcohol ink right on them. And you can do one side one color, one side another color, whatever you decide here. And you can walk it out a little bit, whatever you think you want on that. This one I'm going to put a little bit of orange on over here. And just mix it into it. I'm going to put the orange up here. And just kind of let that go. Isn't that pretty? So you're kind of getting like a stained glass look. I guess we stained glass wreath using foil. And I like this bright green. I think it just kind of gives it that look it needs or something there. And don't be afraid to just kind of let it run over where it needs. Another thing I do is I'll sometimes just take the green and just add a drop somewhere and just kind of let it go. So that is how we color our leaves. And you can do them, like I said, all kinds of shapes and sizes, whatever you want. So let those go dry up, and we're going to go ahead and start putting our wreath together. And what I did is I went and I got an old Christmas wreath to repurpose it. You can see some of the stuff that it had on it. Doesn't need to be nice. You can water it down, kind of clean off all the dirt. And then I spray painted it with a little bit of gold. And I did it on both sides, but I didn't do it solid. You can still see the green a little bit. So we've got that there. I really would have liked an orange bow for this project, but I did not have orange, so I'm going to use red. But I think you could use it for Christmas or fall, either one, by changing the colors up. I think it would really look awesome with an orange bow. So you want something that's going to match your leaves. You also can make holly leaves and do them and put that in here, and that would be a really cute Christmas idea as well. But we needed something to put our leaves into that wasn't going to lay flat, that we could just kind of add them all around here and there. And that's why I went ahead and did use the Christmas wreath, because we can put these all in. And you want to kind of mix them up. You don't want them all the same. You want to do as many as it needs. Now I've got too much orange going on that side. We did a real fun one there. We just did around and around each leaf, kind of more like a fern looking type leaf. You even could put these bigger ones maybe up at the top near our bow, have them kind of coming out, and add them however you think they need to go. So I'm going to go ahead and finish placing these, and then I'm going to start gluing them on, and we'll come back and talk about this in just a little bit longer here. I went back and changed my bow to gold. I just thought the red was too much. I thought it looked too Christmassy, and I glued my leaves on once I got them positioned. I have the 3 up around the bow. Always do them in odd numbers, and then I kind of worked everything else in. When you're gluing them with the hot glue, be very careful. They are aluminum, so they heat up really hot too. So kind of be careful when you're putting them on, and be aware of that. So I put my leaves on, and I put some other natural stuff in here. And then I've also decided that I'm going to come in and put some pine cones in this here and there, these little pine cones. And I really think that adds to it. And it just, this is a real different, I guess, maybe Christmas wreath. Now, I decided if I was going to do it again more for the fall, besides changing the ribbon to orange, what I would do next time is spray paint my wreath, maybe instead of gold, maybe with a little bit of brown. And then I think it would give it more of that fall feel. But I'm really starting to like the way that is looking. It's really different. It's really unique. So at this point in time, I'm just going to go ahead and glue all of my pine cones on here and there throughout that, wherever those are needed. And then we'll talk about that once we get to the other side of that. Isn't that great for a recycled Christmas wreath and what you can do with it? I did come back in and add some little gold berries just to tie in all the gold. But now that you've learned how to make the foil leaves, you can come in and decorate this however you want. Whether you make it to look more like fall colors or make it look more like Christmas colors. I just think it's been a lot of fun. Really turned out unique. So I really enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. For more of the things that I'm working on, check out my new Facebook page at Miriam Joy's Waxy Crafty Corner. I'm putting all the latest projects up there, so be one of the first ones to check it out. Have a blessed Thanksgiving.